We have some insider information when it comes to the VA following President Trump's executive order that everyone's throwing arms about, that the VA says will help VA employees provide the best possible care and benefits to veterans, while others are saying that this change will absolutely destroy the VA and ultimately harm VA disability and VA healthcare for veterans. All right. You'll have to be the judge of which side of the fence you're going to set camp. But here is an internal email that I've received from a source, which is to remain anonymous. All right, here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. It says, please see, this is all email information I've obviously redacted. Same thing down below. And I'm going to take you to this highlighter portion, and then we'll kind of skim this entire email. But it says, taking this step removes barriers in VA's ability to effectively execute its mission without delay, resulting in a more responsive and accountable workforce that better serves veterans and safeguards American interest. All right. So that's the bottom line up front. If you don't want to watch the rest of the video, that's fine. I respect your time. But if you want to know more and you want to support the channel, I ask that you watch the entire video. So here we go. On March 27th, in case you're wondering, let me make this smaller here. And we will use green, okay? March 27th, so very recently, President Trump signed Executive Order 14251. I'm drawing with the mouse, so I apologize, okay? Exclusions from federal labor management relations programs, exempting the VA from Chapter 71 of Title 5, yada, 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 a bunch of legal jargon here, okay? On April 17th, 2025, Federal Register notice was published exempting certain non-national unions coverage. All right, got it. Pursuant to the executive order, the statute applies to exempted employees at VA, and the VA is still subject to the requirements of the statute for those employees. Additionally, the executive order and Federal Register notice, the statute applies to all bargaining unit employees represented by one of the exempted unions, and the VA is still subject to the requirements of those statute for those employees, right? So there's some people that are exempt. It's not many. On August 6th, less than a week ago, on August 6th, the Secretary terminated master collective bargaining agreements. Terminated. Bye-bye. And all amendments, local supplemental agreements, and memoranda of understanding at all levels with the American Federation of Government Employees, the National Association of Government Employees, the Service International Union, the National Nurses Organizing Committee, National Nurses United. All those are mouthfuls. And the National Federation of Federal Employees, except insofar as those agreements covered exempted employees, right? So again, small number. And then there's the bottom line up front there. This is like the meat and potatoes. The VA will no longer follow the statute or any other labor obligations with respect to any non-exempted bargaining unit employee represented by all of those, the mouthful. The statute and CBAs only apply to exempted employees, which are, here's the exemption, the police officers, the POPO, the firefighters, security guards, and the bargaining unit employees represented by one of the exempted unions, the unions listed above in footnote 1. Effective immediately. So right now, right meow, all department organizational components will take the following actions. And here we go. We have 5, right? A, B, C, D, and E. Bargaining. The department will only collectively bargain with the exempted unions. Okay. So if it's not an exempted union, peace. So if you're not a police officer, firefighter, security guard, Bye-bye. Grievance and arbitration proceedings. The department will only participate in negotiated grievance or arbitration procedures that cover the exempted employees. Okay. I'm kind of skipping all this. You can tell that if you're not an exempted employee or one of the exempted unions, none of this matters to you. So everything that you took security in is gone. All right. Use of government property or other government resources. The department will only authorize the use of government property and other government resources for union businesses for the unions that represent exempted employees and the exempted unions. All department employees and non-employee union reps are prohibited from using government property or other government resources to perform union business. Other government resources include, but are not limited to, government-owned or leased transportation, office and meeting space, reserved parking spaces. That part is funny to me. IT-related resources and software, equipment, and inter-office mail and metered mail accounts. Steps to non-authorized return. Okay. Former union reps, employees who encumber positions not exempted. Coverage must be directed to coordinate with the Office of IT. All right. If a union official is also a VA employee, there's like a special process that they're going to go through. And then last one here, human resources and other related matters previously covered in terminated CBAs for employees who encumber positions not exempted. Not exempted. Okay. VA, I got to get rid of that because I got to read. VA organizational components should follow procedures outlined in VA policy for HR and other related matters such as merit promotion, tours of duty, details, reassignments, hours of work, overtime, telework, leave usage, performance or disciplinary related matters, office travel, etc. That was a lot, honestly. You know, the two sides are government employees are employees too. And the other side is you're a government employee, you don't need a union. To be honest with you, I was a federal employee. I can not affected by this executive order, but at the beginning of the year, when President Trump kind of like was downsizing the federal government, okay, I can tell you that my office when I went into work was the most stressful and weird it's ever been. Right? I've been in environments, in situations in Afghan and Syria when I was in the Marine Corps that were less stressful, different kind of stress. I shouldn't say less, different kind of stress than being in the office at the beginning of this year. I assume that's the same for the VA, right? And we didn't get my office. I was an Army civilian. We didn't get this level of scrutiny into our business, but I'd imagine the VA employees, VA workforce kind of being spotlighted right now. When VA employees walk into the office, it's got to be extremely stressful. And I don't like it's going to have a negative impact on the workforce. And although they're tackling backlogs, it's crazy to me the stress and burden like your everyday 9-to-5 VA employee on healthcare side and disability benefit side and cemetery side. The kind of burden they're walking in with every day. Anyways, that's all I got. Those are my thoughts. Okay. I'm not a union expert, so I don't know if this is good or not. If you know, please let me know down below in the comments. And if you made it to the end, I definitely appreciate that. And that's all I got.